When we last left our heroes, the company known as Cartbox had called in their favor and told the party to go hunt down and kill a half-elf bard named Malvira. After a day of searching, they'd run into her on a bridge between two buildings, and both sides quickly drew weapons. Without waiting for even a second, Malvira dissipated her crossbow and drew a dagger from a hidden sheath, then threw it into Edith's stomach. She followed this up by casting heat metal on the blade, burning Edith every round until she eventually would be forced to waste a turn pulling it out. Malvira then ran across the bridge to another building section to get some space, and used her last action to draw Bloodthorn, her red crystal rapier. Jay then sprinted after Malvira and swung his spiked chain, which managed to hit. However, some of Malvira's blood splattered onto Bloodthorn, and the blade seemed to almost start glowing faintly. While the party was fighting, they noticed that walking overhead on some bridges on the floor above them was Halimir, along with another noble they didn't recognize. The second that Halimir saw them, he stopped what he was doing and began commentating the fight. Mankind knew that they cannot change society, so instead of reflecting on themselves, they blamed the beasts. Heaven or hell. Malvira versus Tenebris, Edith, and Jay. Duel 1. Fight. Looks like Malvira's testing Jay's defenses with a close slash, but Jay fumbled the block and took the hit. Jay's gonna have to pick up the slack here if he wants to win this fight, but maybe his teammates are gonna be able to help here. A magic missile coming from Tenebris, not the strongest attack, but certainly a classic, and having a guaranteed hit is always a nice action. Another magic missile! Malvira might have the stronger attacks, but she's clearly not taken the action economy into her game plan. Very true, Dave, though keep in mind that her blade keeps getting stronger and stronger every time she hits an enemy, or when they hit her, so if they don't shut her down fast, it's going to get very bad for them. Hold on to that thought, Halimir, because it looks like some new challengers are approaching from the south. Tenebris looks like he's completely abandoning the fight against Malvira, and now he's flanked by both her and the Plague Doctors. Not the smartest move he could have made, though maybe this might work out for him. Tenebris, don't kill them! I need them alive! That's a nasty hit, and I think I even saw them apply poison to their weapons. Looks like Tenebris' gambit is not working out for him. And to make matters even more fun, we have another challenger approaching. There they are, just where Silcerus said they'd be. Tenebris is just really failing in the blocking department today. He's gotten hit by every single attack focused on him, but maybe he'll be able to turn it around with his next action here. That was a decent retaliation. Using his mobility to his advantage and sprinting across the battlefield constantly might actually be working out for him a little bit. That's the thing about crossbow volley attacks, Halimir. They're good for damage, but they really leave you open if anyone can get up close, which Tenebris was able to notice and capitalize on. And without even a second to breathe, it looks like we have even more new challengers approaching. You may have caught us off guard last time, Edith. However, your tricks won't work twice. Yes, they will. Well, I guess that solves that problem. Sure does, Halimir, and that was quite the fall he took afterward, so even if the blast didn't kill him, there is no way he's getting back up after that. And another group is taken out of the fight, though I doubt that Malvira is going to be a fan of Jay killing one of the Plague Doctors. She did manage to knock one of them out, and I doubt you really need to if you're trying to gather information from them. Very true, Dave. Now that the Plague Doctors are out of the picture, I wonder if the party and Malvira are going to be going back to fighting each other. After all, I believe that was the original pitch for the fight before all of these other people started showing up. Edith has taken yet another hit, and she's not looking so great right now. She's going to have to up her dodging game if she wants any hope of surviving this fight. What do you think about her odds of survival, Halimir? I'll bet 50 silver that she dies to the gnolls. I'll take that action, and I'll bet she gets killed by some new faction that'll eventually arrive next round. And speaking of new contenders, we have another challenger approaching. Oh hi, Ranthorn. How's it going? What in Paylor's name is happening here? Ranthorn, dearie, don't you know? Paylor is dead. They can't help you anymore. As for what's happening here, We're trying to murder that red-cloaked bard for Cartbox. Meanwhile, all of these other whippersnappers keep showing up and attacking. I'll give you a dead squirrel if you help us out." A bold play by Edith, but will a dead squirrel be enough to get this new contender to enter the fray? I doubt it, Halamir, and more importantly, it looks like one of the gnolls is lining up another shot. I believe you owe me 50 silver now. Well, Dave, she could just be unconscious. Adventurers do tend to drop unconscious up to 4 times before they actually get killed. Does that count as a combo if you just do the same attack twice in a row? I doubt it, Halamir, but it did manage to wipe out the rest of the gnoll assassins that Silsira hired, so I guess we'll give Tenebris partial credit for the combo. Meanwhile, on the other bridge, it looks like they're fighting Malvira once again with a solid attack coming from Jay. Don't forget that her magic weapon has been getting stronger for this entire fight so far, but it looks like Ranthorn is going to run over to help the party. Or instead, he'll be attacking the party! Sometimes a dead squirrel just isn't enough to sway someone to your side. It was a good attempt on Edith's part though, but she might have wanted to add some silver to that offer. Very true. But back on the North Bridge, it looks like we've got even more new challengers approaching. Did you really think that you could just steal from Admiral Elros and get away unscathed? You'd think that at a certain point there wouldn't be any new groups of enemies for the party to find. Well, they do seem quite adept at anchoring people. Very true, and over at Edith it is not looking so good. She's lost a lot of blood, and I might end up owing you some silver here after all, Dave. While Edith was getting closer to death, she had a vision. She was submerged, deep below the surface of a massive lake. She could barely see around her in the dark abyss, and she was quickly running out of air. But instead of swimming up, she was sinking. Down into the murky depths below, down towards a massive stone temple covered in moss, and partially sunken into the bottom of the lake. She sensed herself being pulled towards this temple, then awoke suddenly to find Jay stabilizing her with a medicine kit. Never mind, it looks like she's back up. Better get ready to pay that silver, Dave. If I remember correctly, you'll only get your money if these ghouls kill her, and Tenebris is dealing with them fast enough that I don't think either of us are winning this bet. Speaking of bets, I bet that we'll see a new fighter join in 5, 4, 3, 2, yep, there he is now. Wait, Volrin, is that you? How did you manage to find us? Well, I had a vision about Lysha's death, so I was in the area. Then I heard explosions and figured that it was, probably you. Alright, well, we need to deal with these ghouls and then go assassinate the bard on the other bridge, else we'll all be hunted down and murdered by a weird shadow organization. Is it Cartbox? Yeah, it's Cartbox. I feel like I'm missing context about who this new fighter is. Same here, Dave, but it looks like this is the first new person to join the party's side, so their odds of surviving just skyrocketed. He certainly seems to be capable, however, down on the southern bridge, it looks like Ranthorn just lit the connecting bridge on fire. I wonder how the party's going to deal with this, because they've likely only got seconds until their target escapes the fight. Not the move I would have gone with. Big misplay on their part, but maybe there's a strategy I'm not seeing here. What do you think, Dave? Well, Halamir, if their strategy was losing, then that was a fantastic play. And look right now, Malvira has grabbed the unconscious Plague Doctor and fled the scene with Ranthorn the Blood Mage. That's game right there, and this was a good match. Honestly, I think I want to see a rematch someday. Same here, and wait, did they say that this was a Cartbox mission? Yeah, I think they did. Let's get out of here, now. The party stood there, having narrowly survived the harrowing fight, and they realized that they had failed in their task. Now that Malvira knew they were after her, there was no way they'd be able to find her again. They had royally screwed up, and they could already hear the guards of the city approaching towards them because of the explosions Edith had set off during the fight. They needed to leave the city now. And so they fled the scene, with no plan for how they'd survive this mess they'd gotten themselves into.